They said Britain was stable. They said the protests would end by morning. But tonight, the streets tell a different story. From Belfast to Birmingham, the air hums with something heavier than anger. It's realization. A nation has finally looked at itself and seen the truth it was told to ignore. Breaking now. Northern Ireland burns for a fourth night. Smoke chokes the skyline over Ballymena, a town of 30,000. The first sparks came from a crime. Two 14-year-old boys charged with attempted rape, their charges read in court by a Romanian interpreter. But what followed wasn't justice. It was fire. Within hours, the streets erupted. Belfast, Derry, and Lisburn saw their first flames before dawn. And while the north burned, Westminster stayed silent. Inside Downing Street, Prime Minister Keir Starmer called it racism. His Home Office dismissed the riots as misinformation. But to the people who watched their neighborhoods burn, it wasn't about race. It was about betrayal. "We've lost our country," one protester shouted, "and we're taking it back." That message spread faster than the fires. Every clip, every chant, every live stream told the same story. Britain had lost control. In Parliament, one MP rose, voice cracking through the chamber, demanding answers. "This is not just a border crisis," he said. "This is a public safety collapse." He cited statistics, names, numbers, foreign nationals crossing unchecked violent crimes up 23%, women reporting attacks ignored by overstretched police. But as Parliament debated policy, the order had already been signed. Starmer's government approved the transfer of over 3,000 asylum seekers into Northern Ireland before Christmas. No new security plan, no emergency funding, just a signature and silence. When councils asked who would pay, London said, "You implement." That was the moment Northern Ireland stopped asking for help and started fighting back. By nightfall, the protests turned to siege. Police in riot gear clashed with crowds wielding flags, stones, and fury. The chants echoed through estates like thunder. "Send them back!" Flares lit the sky over Belfast. Hotels housing migrants became fortresses. 5 towns locked under emergency curfews. Over 300 arrests, 40 officers injured, and damages climbing past £8 million. The Home Office called it contained disorder. Locals called it rebellion. A leaked police memo confirmed what everyone already knew. We are outnumbered, outfunded, and out of trust. Some officers refused to advance. Others removed their helmets, refusing to strike their neighbors. A veteran shouted into a camera, "We fought the IRA for this land. Now we fight our own government for it." That clip hit 10 million views before being deleted. But deletion couldn't stop the fire. As the smoke faded, the silence grew louder. London's newsrooms ignored it. The BBC ran sanitized headlines. The word riot vanished from every broadcast. Official scripts replaced chaos with calm, tragedy with technicality. And for the first time, the North realized it wasn't just abandoned. It was erased. Inside Number 10, panic spread. Reports landed on Starmer's desk. 5 towns locked down, 12 million in damages, one government crumbling under denial. But instead of transparency, he signed a blackout. Every department was ordered to stabilize the narrative. Editors received pre-approved language from the Home Office. Police images required clearance. Even encrypted police radios were rerouted through London servers. Then came the directive, Operation Northlight. A confidential order signed at 10:45 a.m., authorizing content suppression, warrantless arrests, and restricted media movement across Northern Ireland. To the public, everything looked calm. But beneath the surface, truth was being buried alive. Until one night, a file leaked. At 2:17 a.m., the classified Operation Northlight document appeared online. Within hours, it burned across Britain. The contents were explosive. Journalist watch lists, social media takedown orders, and one chilling line. Authorized by the Prime Minister. The Home Office screamed fake. Metadata proved otherwise. Then a whistleblower appeared, a communications officer from Belfast. Her message was one line long. "If the truth burns, let it burn everywhere." By morning, Northlight leak was trending worldwide. Anchors disappeared mid-broadcast. Police raided newsrooms in Belfast and Manchester. Arrests confirmed what London denied. The document was real. Westminster said control. Britain said treason. For the first time, the government wasn't fighting misinformation. It was fighting discovery. Across the nation, protests went silent. Blank white signs filled the streets. No slogans, just meaning. Teachers walked out. Veterans turned their medals upside down. Even BBC staff refused to air censored scripts. 1 million screens went dark in unity. The government called it sabotage. The people called it freedom. Then, one image broke through censorship. A police officer removing his helmet, saluting the crowd. "We serve the people," he said. "Not the protocol." 48 million views before deletion. Re-uploaded 300 million times after power had gone dark, but the people had found the light. Parliament reconvened behind armored gates. Half the benches were empty. The speaker's gavel echoed in chambers stripped of authority. Outside, the crowd chanted a single word: resign. Markets crashed. The pound fell to a decade low. £6 billion vanished overnight. Embassies withdrew staff. Starmer appeared on live television, voice trembling, blaming foreign interference. But by then, Britain had already identified its enemy, and it wasn't abroad. At 5:42 p.m., the Home Secretary resigned. At 6:03, the Defense Minister followed. By 7, Downing Street was barricaded. For the first time in a century, the government faced collapse not from an election, but from exposure. They came at dawn. Thousands walking north. Veterans, mothers, miners, priests. No chants, no flags, just folded symbols of loyalty betrayed. Police didn't stop them. Some joined. Convoys from Leeds and Glasgow cleared roads, bringing food and water. By noon, 500,000 filled Belfast's streets. Rain fell, but no one moved. When the anthem played, "Send Her Victorious," it wasn't sung as praise, but warning. Cameras panned across faces that looked neither angry nor afraid, just awake. Day 7. Parliament in lockdown. The palace surrounded. The King's address, a call for reconciliation, came too late. Starmer's convoy crawled through empty London streets, windows blacked out, rain on glass. At 8 p.m., Number 10's lights went dark. There was no cheer, just silence. The kind that feels like truth. For the first time in living memory, Britain changed government without consent, not through an election, but through exposure. No votes, no campaigns, just a nation unplugging from lies. Morning came without headlines. No front pages, just walls covered in murals, the North reborn from ash. In Derry, candles burned on rain-soaked stones. In London, the silence of power had finally become the voice of the people. This isn't the end of Britain. It's the beginning of something ungoverned, unfiltered, undeniable. And when history looks back, it won't ask who started the fire, it'll ask who tried to hide it. This is election scandal. If you stand for truth, for freedom, for a voice unmuted, subscribe now, because history didn't end in Northern Ireland. It started there,